All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Cody with Auburn Business Ventures, and today we're going to probably have a pretty short episode about SEO and being found. The last piece of content I put out was about websites, but today I'm just going to speak more specifically just to SEO and what you need to do on your website to make it easier to be found by Google and therefore easier to be found by the people who might be looking for your business. And we are going to start with a really basic question, which is, what is Google or any search engine really looking for? And really what it comes down to is relevance. So the relevance of your content, the relevance of your location, and the relevance of the solution that you have that solves a problem that a customer has. And these platforms are also going to be looking for your authority, which has a lot to do with which other websites and companies that yours is connected to. And they're also going to look at quality. So the quality of your content, the quality that's structured, and also the quality of your solutions. So that will be reflected in Google reviews, Yelp reviews, any type of reviews that you might be collecting. And all of that you're going to want to bundle into your company's website. Okay. And so from a small local business standpoint, which covers most of the businesses that we work with, they just need to worry about local SEO. They don't really need to worry about ranking nationally. I mean, I know some businesses that are operated, locally do have national customers, but really for the most part, they just need local SEO. So they just need the people in the local region to be able to find them through a Google search or through an AI search. And so luckily that is a lot more simple. Okay. In the old days, we had to worry a lot about keywords and keyword research. And while that's still relevant, obviously, we're not going to overthink the keywords that we're putting in your website. So if we build your website for you, we're not going to absolutely sweat, the specific keywords. Like I said, it is important, but what we're really going to do is make sure that your website and your message is understandable to the search engines and to the humans that are going to read your website. Okay. So with that said, the best way to achieve this is with organization. The organization of your website usually gets broken down into the following pattern. You have a homepage, okay? I've done a bit about that, talking about how your homepage is both a navigation menu and a summary of your business, okay? So you're going to have your homepage, you're going to have your service pages. Most businesses have more than one thing that they offer, and they can break those out into separate pages. Some businesses don't, but even then, sometimes they can get away with splitting certain aspects of their main service out. But those are your service pages. These are really important for local businesses because what they are representations of the main pillars of your business. And these pages are incredibly important to make, and they're incredibly important to get right with the way that you structure them. The title of the page is really important to get right. That would be like the one thing where you do absolutely need to worry about the keywords. And these pages are the ones that are going to show up if you do a Google search. These pages are going to show up as little recommended snippets or pages under the main listing that comes up. So if you type in, massage therapists in Auburn, California, and then you're going to get your Google results. Those who have a website that is built correctly, it'll show their main website, like their home page, as the main search result. But then, just under that and indented will be another few pages that Google also will list as a part of that search result. Now, oftentimes those will be the main service pages, but you'll also often see maybe an About Us page, a Contact Us page. And really, if you're building your website right, that search result will be well structured and it will be recommending the most important pages. And if it's not, if you have your friends search for a phrase that you should turn up for, you can get a sense of the way your business is showing up, and that might indicate to you that you have structural problems in the way that your website is built. This is going to be very common for people who DIY their websites because they don't know this. They think that they can just fire up a Wix account, slap it all together, which they can, and even if it looks good, there are structural coded things that need to be taken care of on the back end if you really want your website to shine in search results. Okay, so your homepage, your service pages, your location pages. So what location pages are, this is really popular with home services businesses, let's say pest control or plumbing, roofing, anything like that. Location pages is something like you have a specific page dedicated to your service in X location. Roofing companies in Auburn. Roofing services in Auburn, roof repair in Auburn, sink, plumbing, residential plumbing repairs in Colfax, California. So these are the titles of the pages. Okay, those it's called a location page. Very popular in the old days of SEO, still relevant now, but especially important to get right these days is the content on that page being specific to the location that you made the page for. Okay, this is going to raise the relevance score for a search phrase that would turn up that result. So if it is plumbing services in Colfax, all of the content on that page needs to be adjusted and written for those for the person searching that. So if there's anything specific about a location that changes your service or is has a little bit of nuance, like maybe putting on a roof in Roseville is going to be different than putting on a roof in Truckee because of snow load differences, things like that. That needs to be included in those location pages so that, humans aren't dumb either. They can read through and be like, oh, this is a generic page, or they could be like, oh, this company actually took the time to prove that they know exactly what needs to be communicated to me, the customer. Okay, so location pages can be really important. Then you're going to have possibly, so homepage, service pages, location pages. A lot of companies also have blogs or resource blogs. Ours is these videos that I'm recording right now. What we do is we put them on YouTube, we post them to our podcast channel, and we also put them in basically what is a blog on our website. These are like optional but definitely helpful content areas to have on your website because it gives you a chance as a business to communicate to your customers the value that you have to offer. Now, obviously, you can do this on all your other pages, but in a blog, you can do it in a more organic, less official way. Those other page types that I mentioned before the blog, those are critical. Those are absolutely structural, critical. You cannot skip those. The blog is like the embellishment that really drives things home and proves that your company is relevant and helpful and has some authority on a topic. It gives you the opportunity to prove your authority and your quality because you can write endless blog posts, not that I recommend you do, but you have basically unlimited opportunity to publish important content that proves that you're a good solution for your customers. This is probably one area where it is probably underworked, but is really important because especially in these days with AI, these AI platforms are super hungry for content. And I think the world is coming to a point where we're going to need to start feeding our websites more rich content for the AI search tools to search in, because what's going to happen is if we don't, what's going to be recommended in like the ChatGPT threads, the Gemini threads is going to be inaccurate information. That's already a problem. And so if you want to stand out now, being ahead of the curve, it's going to be a project of filling your website with accurate, rich, informative, helpful content. And that is just a huge, wide open opportunity right now because search isn't necessarily changing fundamentally. It's just changing the way it works and with how much content is necessary to give the new way people are searching enough to work with. Okay, so that's it for blog pages and how they can be helpful there. And with that said, when you build this all out, there's a concept called internal linking, which is, let's say you have a blog page and it's talking about a service, maybe informing, it's educational, it's helping your customer understand your service. Well, those blog pages, while you're being helpful to the customer, you're building trust with them. It's a perfect opportunity to pepper in links in that content that link to maybe a booking page or a page that speaks more specifically and officially to a service. And so it's called cross-linking, and those are internal links in your website. And creating that little web, those little navigational links across your website really helps the search tools understand your website, and it gives the people on your website an opportunity to naturally navigate between the information types that you're providing. When people have that freedom to move through your website in a natural way, they feel like they're being helped by your company, and you haven't really had to do anything except for provide them that map and that platform. And so that is a highly recommended thing that I would say that everybody needs to do is look at how navigable your website is and evaluate how helpful it is. If you want some help with this, feel free to book a strategy call with us. We offer free 20-minute strategy calls on our website, auburnbusinessventures.com. And we can, while we're on the phone with you, look through your website and see what opportunities that you have to increase basically your search ranking, increase the likelihood that you're going to be recommended by an AI search. And we'd be happy to do that. And so with that said, getting your, the structure of your website right, making sure you're taking advantage of the opportunity to communicate value in a structured, organized way is all really important. And with all that said, you don't want your website to be hard to read. You don't want to write too much in certain areas, okay? That's kind of what the blog is for, long form writing. Your website overall, though, should be scannable and easy to read and easy to use, clean. The two extremes of this that I see that I feel like are detrimental to small business websites is they're either not putting enough information, which I feel like is very common, especially in the medical fields, anything kind of related to health, services. I noticed there's just not a lot of information on these websites. But then, with that said, you might look at a holistic health business in the way they tend to write a lot of information, paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs where there shouldn't be. And so there's a balance between simple and overwhelm when it comes to where and how much content you put on your website, but it can be easily solved with some site structure. And so if you feel like you might need help with that, like I said, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to help. And I guess one more last important thing to consider on your website is the importance of FAQ sections or FAQ pages. If we were to build your website for you right now, the way we would handle it is put FAQ sections on all of the service pages on your website. And these sections are going to include the frequently asked questions that are specific to the service that the page is dedicated to. The homepage will also have an FAQ section that has frequently asked questions that are general and all-encompassing. And it wouldn't hurt to also consider putting FAQs in blogs or even on contact pages or about pages. But almost the more the merrier with FAQs at this point, especially if you have done some phrase and keyword research to know what people are searching for and what problems they're trying to solve. That is sort of I'm just going to call it a golden key for now, because the way people are interacting with search tools is different. They're speaking longer, asking more specific questions that are more natural to human language. And luckily for anybody who is working on a business website, that gives you the opportunity to just write FAQs and get a lot of mileage out of that, because now there's just like a really good match between what people are searching and what you're publishing, right? And the tools are going to match that. Whereas in the old days, it was almost like the way you had to search Google was so robotic, and if you put too many words in there, it would give you messy results, and that's just like not the case anymore. And so now we are really sort of in a golden era of opportunity to answer questions in a rich format, and that's something that we highly recommend right now. If you make videos like I'm making right now, publish those on your website, put them in your blog, put them on your YouTube channel, and link everything together. This is like the biggest thing you can do. If you want help understanding that or implementing that, reach out. We'd be happy to help. Hope this episode was helpful, everybody, and